Attention! 30 Gamercam clips are coming up. Grab some snacks for the best viewing experience because this time we've got some crazy gamers. This submitter was driving home from the airport when a sedan pulled in front of the car ahead of him. When they collided, our submitter tried to slow down, but he ended up hitting one of the vehicles. Off-road Covet was driving his semi-truck when an oncoming drunk driver hit the median barrier, which sent him flying. The car landed on his truck, crushing his hood. The drunk driver managed to survive the accident, but only after spending 3 months in the hospital. Wyatt was driving home, and he admits he wasn't paying much attention as he approached a railroad crossing. His car was hit by a train, which sent him flying and tumbling. We think he's the luckiest driver in this episode so far after surviving this accident. This submitter sent us some footage of an epic crash. He was driving a bus over a railroad crossing when he got stuck. A train was approaching at the time, and it hit the bus at full speed. The train derailed, and the wagons exploded because they were full of gas. Be careful around trains, everybody. Connor was driving his supercar on the streets of Mexico. When he got a text, he looked away from the road for a split second, which happened to be at the same time that he was approaching a curve. By the time he realized what was happening, it was too late. He ended up crashing into a tree at high speed, destroying his vehicle. Lucas was racing in his Land Rover Defender when he lost control and crashed into another vehicle. The impact sent him spinning into a tree before he was hit again by the driver he'd been racing against. Fleetari was driving his Ibishu Covet when he pulled over to relieve himself. While he was losing weight, another driver started drifting off the road and crashed into his car. He began chasing it as it continued rolling down the road. After he finally caught up to it, he went to check on the other driver. It turned out the other driver was very drunk. The police were called and they promptly arrested him. This submitter was transporting cargo when he witnessed an insane driver making an illegal and dangerous overtake. Then the driver in front of him slowed down so unexpectedly that he rear-ended him. Gladrap Gaming was driving down narrow roads at high speed when he caught some air before noticing a car ahead of him. He tried to avoid it after landing, but there wasn't much space. He says, "Don't speed in these sections, folks." I gotta say, I love that license plate. Caden Leasley was racing in a wreckfest when he got some great footage. See for yourself. I'd definitely be angry about that first wreck. In the end, he ended up placing 15th out of 24. That's still pretty good considering what he had to go through in this race. Ethan C. started slowing down behind a driver who was turning left. As he did, he got rear-ended by a pickup truck. Unfortunately, his car was totaled. This submitter was driving his Tesla in Italy when a driver failed to yield and they collided. The driver behind our submitter didn't have enough time to stop and rear-ended his car. Unfortunately, his rear camera was destroyed, so we don't have footage of the aftermath. This submitter was driving on his way to IKEA when another driver failed to yield, but he somehow managed to stop in time to avoid a collision. A few miles later, the same thing happened, and he again managed to avoid a collision. Unfortunately, the driver behind him was texting and they rear-ended him. I think this submitter is the unluckiest driver in this episode so far. Diego was driving down a highway when a white van cut in front of and brake-checked him. Diego rear-ended the van before crashing into some rocks. Noah was driving at a high rate of speed on the highway. All of a sudden, he noticed a mattress right in his path. He instinctively swerved to the left before immediately trying to correct, but he still ended up hitting the mattress. It destroyed his front bumper cover and did other damage to the car. Place your bets, we've got a drag race here. Bugatti Chiron versus Tesla Model X Plaid. Who's gonna win? Well, see for yourself. It looks like it's gonna be the Tesla. But wait, at the very last second, the Chiron managed to catch up and won the race. This submitter was driving home in his Mercedes. The roads were slippery when his rear tires lost traction and he hit the road barriers. This submitter was driving one night in foggy weather. That's when, out of nowhere, a minivan appeared right in his path. Unfortunately for them both, they ended up colliding. This submitter was driving at high speed when he went through some zigzags. He lost control but avoided hitting a house before flying onto a beach and into the water. Bill was leaving a restaurant. Once he got on the road, he was rear-ended by a criminal running from the cops. Luckily, everybody was okay in the end. This submitter was also involved in a police chase. The police failed to pit maneuver a suspect's car, but it still slid into our submitter's vehicle. I guess when you're driving, anything can happen. Ethan sent us this footage from his car. A Mustang driver doing donuts in a parking lot quickly crashed into a parked car. In this clip, Ethan was rallying in a Ford when he slid off the road with his left tires and went over a little bump. The bump made him lose control completely and he slammed into a tree that cut his car in half before proceeding to roll down a hill. Zilla was racing in traffic when he hit a car and caused a multi-vehicle collision. Ethan was racing in the desert in his off-road truck when he left the course as he went into a curve too fast. The terrain was rough, and as he tried to get back onto the course, he rolled over, ending his run. Curious Connor was approaching a narrow road at high speed. Suddenly, he realized he was approaching a sharp curve way too fast. He locked up his brakes before crashing into the guardrail. Leo was driving his Tesla in Italy when he failed to yield to another car that swerved into Leo's path before they crashed head-on. After contacting his insurance agent and talking with the repair shop, the total repair bill came to $15,000 US. Max was sliding through traffic on the Shutoko Highway. He had several close calls before getting a little overconfident and causing a 3-car accident. Adam sent us this footage of a truck driver crashing into 12 brand new rental vehicles that his company had just added to their fleet. The damage to the cars added up to over $266,000 US, and they ended up suing the truck driver for $300,000. Dexter was transporting an excavator when he decided to change lanes. He activated his turn signal, and as he started merging, a Skoda driver performed an illegal lane change. This ended up causing a pretty bad collision with Dexter. The extensive damage to Dexter's truck cost over $32,000 US to fix.